while we're busy chasing all those goals, something else is happening. When we're chasing the goals, we're making decisions. Life is shaping us. Every success shapes us. Every failure shapes us. Every relationship, every difficult conversation, every decision shapes us. Most of the time, we don't even notice it. We think life changes in these big moments. The diagnosis, the divorce, the promotion, the wedding, the sale of the business. Those moments, they matter. They absolutely matter, but they're not the whole story. Welcome to All Can, No Can't, the podcast where we toss out excuses, face our fears, and reclaim control. I'm Jeff Luther, your guide to mastering the chaos and turning obstacles into opportunities. Whether you're an entrepreneur navigating the ups and the downs of building a successful business or someone ready to rewrite the rules of your life, this is your space to grow, to push boundaries, and to embrace doing the hard shit that leads to greatness. Together, we'll explore stories of resilience, strategies for overcoming, and the mindset shifts that let you build a life on your terms. I use my experience with a life-altering diagnosis to help you find the can in every can't. So buckle up, because it's time to stop living in can't and start thriving in all can. You choose. Welcome back to All Can, No Can't. I'm your host, Jeff Luther, and this is the podcast where we turn obstacles into opportunities. I've been thinking a lot lately about a question. Actually, that's not true. This question's been following me around for like the last few years, I think. It seems to show up a lot lately in coaching conversations and conversations with my boys, in business, and honestly in the quiet moments when I'm by myself is when it's showing up most. And it kind of started last week. I did an episode last week, wrote a LinkedIn newsletter as well about my son and this ring that he wanted to make. He wanted this super cool ring, and I was asking about it. It started out like, how was I going to help him make this ring? And then it started out, how am I going to help him not get discouraged? Because the ring's super elaborate. He's almost done with it, actually. I can't wait to post pictures about it. But it started out with this conversation with him and this ring that he was going to make, blacksmithing. And I asked him what he wanted, and he said, well, I wanted this really cool ring. I was like, well, shit, you can go buy the ring. And I challenged him. I said, is it okay if I challenge you a little bit on that? Do you think that maybe you want to become the person that could make that ring? And that's when the question kind of became a bigger thing. The question is, who are you becoming? Not who you are, who am I? But the question is, who are you becoming? Who you are is a different question. Who are you becoming? I think there's a reason that question has stuck with me. Most of us, we spend our lives asking questions about outcomes. What job do I want? How much money do I want to earn? How big do I want to grow my business? Where do I want to live? What are my goals? None of those are bad questions. And I've asked every one of them, and I still do, and I still will. I'll continue to ask those things. Those are important. But somewhere along the way, I realized there's a much more important question hiding underneath all of that, all of those questions. Because while we're busy chasing all those goals, something else is happening. When we're chasing the goals, we're making decisions. Life is shaping us. Every success shapes us. Every failure shapes us. Every relationship, every difficult conversation, every decision shapes us. Most of the time, we don't even notice it. We think life changes in these big moments. The diagnosis, the divorce, the promotion, the wedding, the sale of the business. Those moments, they matter. They absolutely matter, but they're not the whole story. Life keeps shaping us long after those moments are over, long before they showed up. And I don't think I fully understood that until my divorce, until going through that divorce. During that season, that was a really cold season. I don't know how you frame that. Very wintry, not like a wintry mix, but very wintry, very hard season. And some horrible things were said about me. And what I thought about doing was reading the affidavit that my ex-wife and her attorney wrote. And then I in my mind, I thought about going back through some of the emails and texts that she sent, and I thought, oh man, that's really dumb. Why pick that scab? And if you've ever been through a divorce or an ugly separation, I think you probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. People say things. They say things out of hurt, out of anger, out of fear, out of frustration. We all do it. Can't fault those people for that. But the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. Some of the things simply weren't true. Like not a reality in any part of it. Some of them contain just enough truth to make me question myself, and that's the dangerous part, not the lies, the partial truths, because those are the ones that stick, and then they help the others stick. And for a while, I wore all of those words like they belonged to me. I wore the guilt, I wore the shame. I stopped seeing those words as accusations, and I started seeing them as my identity. Looking back, that's probably the most dangerous thing that labels do. Not when they describe us, but when we let them define us. Or at least when they try to define us and we let them. And if we're not careful, we start making decisions that reinforce those labels. Have you noticed that? Somebody calls you lazy and eventually you stop trying because, well, maybe that's who I am. Someone tells you that you're difficult. Pretty soon you stop believing that healthy relationships are possible. Someone tells you that you're a failure. So understand this piece. This is probably the most compelling. Someone tells you that you're a failure. Before long, you stop taking risks because failing again would simply confirm what you've already started believing. And then when you stop taking risks, you essentially stop trying. And when you stop trying, then what? Then that feeds into that label of being a failure. So labels don't just describe us, they're quiet. They can quietly start directing us. Eventually, I reached a point where I just couldn't carry those labels anymore. And it was eating at me. And I remember thinking to myself, this happened. I remember like exactly where I was. I have a separate garage in an apartment, and I was walking from that garage, which is where my gym is, back into my house. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm not those things. Then another thought crossed my mind. Maybe they were true. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were partial true. Maybe they weren't. But I knew right then, I told myself, but they're not true right now. Right now, those things are not true. And that is literally what I meant right in that moment when I thought, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But right now, they're not. And that sentence changed everything. Because then I thought, okay, well, if they weren't true, if those are not true, then who am I? And for a while, I thought that was the question. Okay, those things are not true, then who am I? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I was asking the wrong question. If those things aren't true, something has to be true.
As you know, I've been coaching for a little over a year now, and my coach just laid something pretty heavy on me. They've challenged me to have 50 powerful coaching conversations booked within the next 30 days. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, maybe successful but unfulfilled, or you just need to talk something through with someone that will listen, then I would love to have that conversation with you. This is not a tactic. There's no sales pitch. It's just one powerful conversation. This is complimentary to you. So if you want in, send me a message and I'll send you the link. I got you.
And who am I assumes that I'm standing still. And I'm not. I'm not standing still. You're not standing still. None of us are standing still. Life doesn't stop long enough for us really to figure it all out. It doesn't stop long enough for us to figure out who I am. It's shaping us while we're living. Every experience leaves something behind. Every decision leaves something behind. And that's when that question changed for me. Instead of asking, who am I said, okay, well, who am I? If I'm not those things, who am I? And I thought, well, I've got to be something. So what does that mean? That means, who am I becoming? And that question changed everything, because suddenly the focus wasn't on defending who I had or had not been. It wasn't about proving someone wrong that I wasn't those things. It wasn't about carrying labels that someone else had given me. It became about paying attention. Am I becoming more patient, or am I becoming more bitter? Am I becoming more compassionate, or am I becoming more cynical? Am I becoming more curious or more controlling? More willing to have hard conversations or more likely to avoid them? And those aren't questions that you answer just once. I answer those questions like every single day, almost every hour. Not intentionally. I don't intentionally set out with those questions, but those are the decisions. Every decision is casting a vote for the person that I'm becoming. And I know that sounds weird, but every decision shapes the person you're becoming. Every time you hit snooze, you're becoming a person that hits snooze. So every decision is casting a vote for the person I'm becoming. Every decision is shaping the person I'm becoming. Every conversation, every apology, every excuse, every act of courage, every difficult phone call, every workout, every time I choose responsibility over blaming someone else, every one of those decisions follows me. I've said it for years. When my boys, most of you know, I've got 3 amazing kids. I totally hit the kid lottery. But every time they would leave the house, I would say that. I've said it for years. Hey, decisions follow you. And I don't think how that we understand how true that really is. They follow us into tomorrow. And for me, for my boys, it was more about, decisions follow you, dude. Decisions follow you. When you decide to make fun of somebody, that sticks with you. When you decide to bully somebody, that sticks with you. When you decide to stick up for a friend, that stays with you. That's the person you become known as. And it developed, as they got older and started going out like Friday and Saturday night, past the middle school age, and they were leaving the house seriously. It became, decision. They're bigger decisions like drinking. Decisions follow you. Deciding to get in a car with someone that had been drinking, or mixing alcohol in vehicles. Those decisions follow you. We can look at some people that made that decision. That decision followed them. Where are those people now? And then, promiscuity and all that kind of stuff. I tried to curb that as best I could, or at least let them understand, hey, you're going to make a choice. That choice follows you. It'll follow you into tomorrow. The decisions become habits. Habits, the things that we do habitually, they become our character. And the character becomes the reputation. And eventually, that reputation, that's the person we become. And this very thing, I wrote a LinkedIn newsletter about it. About, it's not who am I, it's who am I becoming. And one of my favorite comments on the newsletter so far, I just posted it Monday, I think. One of my favorite comments so far was from this really sharp woman, Rebecca. And she said something that totally changed my perspective. When you write these newsletters, like you study it, you write it, and you draft it, and you edit it, and you do it over and over, and you want to have it right for people that might challenge you, or people that have questions or want to talk to you about it. And she wrote something so quick, and it totally changed my perspective. Or at least, no, that's not true. It didn't change my perspective, but it certainly gave me another perspective. It definitely added a layer to the conversation. She wrote, "It's so easy to treat identity as fixed. It's so easy to treat identity as fixed. And this is a reminder that it's always happening. It's never final." And I loved it because she's so right. Identity is not final. It's unfolding. It's happening while we're having this conversation. That means you're becoming someone today. So am I. The question isn't whether life is happening, or the question isn't whether life is shaping you. It is. The question isn't whether you're becoming someone, because you are. The only question is whether you're paying attention to who that person is. Who are you becoming? So here's what I would encourage you to do for the rest of the day. Before you make a decision, before you react, before you avoid that difficult conversation, before you scroll on your phone, ask yourself this question. And it could be two. Ask yourself this question. Who am I becoming? Or you can ask yourself, does this help build who I want to become? I like that question better, and I'll give you like real life. In my home inspection business, our leadership team, we developed a 10-year target or 10-year plan, and it was to do $10 million in revenue. So and it had metrics around it with profit and jobs and all these other things, but the big piece of that was the 10 million in revenue. So every time we wanted to make a change, or every time we wanted to make adjustments or implement something new or take out something that was already existing, we would ask that question. Does this get us to $10 million quicker? Does this get us to $10 million safer? Does this get us to $10 million more profitable? Questions like that. So ask yourself that question. Does this help build who I want to become? I have a feeling that those questions might change more decisions than any goal you've ever written down. Because goals will change decisions, right? But building the person that you want to become, that will change it. And if you're listening to this thinking, I don't even know who I'm becoming anymore, or I know the direction I want to go, but I don't know how to get there, that's exactly the kind of conversations that I love having. So one of the greatest privileges of my life, besides watching my kids develop, is walking alongside people as they gain clarity, as they work through difficult seasons, as intentionality becomes the person that they want to be, when they intentionally become the person they want to be. And if this is something that you'd like help with, or you want to explore it, I would love to invite you for just a complimentary clarity conference. No sales pitch, no pressure, just a conversation. And that is totally legit. Like, I am still working to have my 50 complimentary coaching calls, 50 complimentary clarity calls. That was a challenge that my coach gave to me a couple of months ago. We'll spend 45 minutes to an hour talking about where you are, where you want to go, and the things that are standing in the way. If I can help, I will tell you. If I can't help, I will tell you that too. So you can schedule your complimentary coaching call. You can just visit jeffluther.com. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. It's like 10, 12 minutes for this solo podcast. If this episode made you think, then amazing. That's the point. If it made you think of someone that might need to hear it, please send it to them. And if this question sticks with you the way it's been sticking with me, I would love to hear from you. So click that follow, and you can get these every week. And until next time, I absolutely cannot wait to see you, and keep becoming. Thanks for listening to All Can, No Can't. If today's episode resonated with you, remember, it's not about the chaos you face. It's about how you choose to take back control. It's about finding that one small can in the can't you're given and grinding it down. Find your angle, carve your place out in the world, and get the fucking win. Do that by finding what you can do and not listening to what you can't. You choose. Be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Your support helps me reach more people that are ready to embrace the all-can mindset. And it lets them know there's someone that's willing to walk with them no matter how dark the path gets. You can find me on Insta at JDLuther 2.0 and allcan_no-can't. This is where I share more tips, stories, inspiration to help fuel your journey. And until next time, keep pushing boundaries, breaking limits, proving to yourself that anything is possible, even when you're told it isn't. Remember, life's not about can't. It's all can. Go prove them wrong.